Hey, what's up? It's James here, Solar Family. How are you? Hopefully you're doing amazing. In this video, I'm going over the 5 biggest mistakes you can make as a new solar consultant. Because I wish when I first got started, was that 6 years ago? It seems like ages now. I wish somebody told me these things, because if they did, I definitely would have prevented them, and I probably would have been a little bit further ahead than I'm at right now. And hopefully this video will help you to prevent these mistakes that a lot of new consultants make. So the first mistake that you can make as a new consultant is you burn your warm market, right? And what I mean by this is you join a solar company, you're probably 2 or 3 days in, or even a week. You probably had some sales training with your sales manager, and they say, hey, James, go out there and talk to your friends and family about solar and tell them that you want to practice with them. I'm all for practicing, but you don't want to practice with your friends and family, especially if they have a home, right? So what you need to do first is you need to understand that practicing with your family and friends, because they are your warm market and they're the ones that's more likely to put solar on their house. So before you practice with them, make sure that you actually know your pitch. And this is a strategy that you can use, because you just say, hey, John, Uncle John, I just got in the solar industry. My homework is to practice with my friends and family so I get familiar with the presentation. Can you do me a favor? Can I come over and present this information to you? And what you're actually doing is you're basically incognitoing Uncle John to listen to your presentation, because you're going to be well prepared. You're already going to know the sales methodology, the sales pitch before you get there. And Uncle John's going to be like, after the presentation, he's going to be like, hey, James, this sounds pretty darn good. How can I get this thing on my house? You don't want to be stuttering and not knowing the presentation when you're in front of Uncle John. And that's what happens when your sales trainer tells you right away, hey, I know it's only been 2 or 3 days that you've been in the business. Go talk to Uncle John real quick and go practice with him. Yeah, that's great, but you definitely need to learn the sales presentation first so you can basically incognito Uncle John to purchase solar for their home. Hopefully that makes sense. Learn the strategies first before you talk to your own market, because that's going to be your biggest and quickest sale ever. That's going to be able to hold you off for the first month or 2 while you're building your pipeline. So learn how to sell first before you talk to Uncle John or Auntie Susan, right? Number 2, the second biggest mistake that you can make is you're not familiar with your market. And what I mean by this is you don't quite understand how the utility company bills, their homeowner. So you need to understand and be able to educate and present to the homeowner how the local utility is currently billing them. For example, certain parts of San Diego where I live, it's time of use. So what I inform the homeowner is during certain times of the month, or actually of the day, you're going to pay a higher rate. There's going to be a peak hour, there's going to be an off-peak hour, and this is how much it costs. And some parts of town, it's on a tier system. So I need to let the homeowner know, hey, Mr. Homeowner, there's a 3-tier system that you're currently in right now. First tier is this. After you consume all that energy, it moves up to the next tier, and so on and so forth. So before you start selling and getting in front of homeowners, make sure to know your market, because every single market is going to be different. So let me give you another example. I'm currently out here in Arizona, and the market is completely different out here in Arizona. So I can't use the same methodology that I'm using in San Diego, which is the time of use and also the tier system out here. Obviously, they still have their own time of use, but it's going to be different. The cost per kilowatt hour is going to be different. The time of actual on-peak, off-peak is going to be different. So know your market, be familiar with your market, because at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're educating homeowners the problem. What is the problem with the current utility? And if you can't explain to the homeowners, do some homework first. And the way to actually get more information about your market is to call and contact the local utility company. So most of the utility companies that I spoke with, or the representative I spoke with, they're amazing. They're really helpful. So go on their website, jot down some questions and give them a call and know your market. And 3, you're not role playing. When you're new, you have to be constantly role playing, because solar sales is probably new to you, right? So once you get familiar and once you know the lingo, know the pitch by role playing, maybe with your spouse or significant other, or even your dog, right? Just constantly role play, because once you know the pitch, it's just gonna flow right out of your mouth. And you don't want to be stuttering in front of the homeowners, right? Because you don't have a methodology, you haven't been practicing your sales skills, right? You have to sharpen your sales skills, because at the end of the day, you're probably competing with other consultants. That's role playing, that's constantly sharpening their skills. So my recommendation to you is constantly role play, constantly sharpen your skills, whether your spouse or maybe a colleague. 4. The 4th mistake that you can make when you're new is you have no goal or even a target, right? And I want to back it up a little bit even more, because you probably don't know your commission structure and how that works, whether you're getting paid by kilowatts or price per watt. You haven't set any goals and targets for yourself, whether it's an annual income goal, and then you probably need to break it down to a monthly goal, a daily goal. So have a goal in mind, because you don't want to just run around aimlessly every single day with no goal. So it's really important for you to set goals every day. Hey, how many doors am I going to hit? How many closed deals do I need to close this month? And more importantly, how many installs am I going to push through? Because I know there's a lot of guys and gals, maybe including yourself, that's cranking out deals, signing contracts, DocuSign after DocuSign after DocuSign. But keep in mind, in this industry, we're not getting paid till solar goes on rooftops. So even if you're closing a lot of deals, what is your goal to actually push the job through to install? So have a goal, have a target. And lastly, the last mistake that you can make as a new consultant is you have no exit strategy. And what I mean by this is you have no exit strategy from door to door. Maybe you're canvassing, to how are you going to generate leads via online. I always tell my students, continue what's working right now. Go knock on doors, go close some deals, but keep in mind that have an exit strategy. Do something on top of what you're doing to generate leads via online. So you can generate leads on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, websites, things of that nature, right? Because if you just continue to knock on doors, some people are amazing at it. They can continue to knock on doors literally forever. But that's going to be a really low percentage of the population that can maintain a door-to-door canvassing strategy. Most people, most gals, guys, maybe yourself, maybe you've been knocking on doors for a couple months or even a year or two, you're like, damn, I am tired. I am tired of knocking on doors. In summer, especially out here in Arizona, it's like 118 degrees. And also in certain states, it's snowing in wintertime. So on top of what you're currently doing now to generate solar leads, whether that's canvassing, knocking on doors, handing out flyers, whatever that may be, continue that. But in the meantime, in the background, come up with an exit strategy And that exit strategy should be social media, right? Position yourself as an expert so you can eventually transition from knocking on doors to actually generating leads while you sleep, because social media is going to take a little bit of time. If someone's telling you that, hey dude, join my course, join my program, and then, you know, within a week or so, boom, instant magic's gonna happen. Doesn't necessarily happen that way. Maybe in some markets it can, but with my experience over the last 7 years of generating leads online, it doesn't necessarily happen that way. It takes a little bit of time, and more importantly, it takes a lot of action from you. I see a lot of consultants, they're creating ads and things like that on Facebook or even YouTube, and after a week, after a month, they just completely quit. So I hope that's not you. If you're consistent, you're eventually gonna start generating leads, right? It's like the story of the rabbit and the hare. The rabbit takes off, off he goes, and you know, a little bit down the road, here comes the hare, it just passes the rabbit up, because the rabbit just burnt all their gas, and they're just not consistent. But the hare, even though he is a little, or even she is a little bit slower, that hare continuously takes a step every single day, right? So consistency is what's gonna separate you from being successful in social media marketing and just in life in general, right? So the moral of the story, have an exit strategy. These are the 5 mistakes that I want you to prevent. And if you're currently doing some of these now, then now you know. Right now you basically have an idea on how to create a plan, have a goal, have a target, and also have an exit strategy on how you're gonna start generating leads online instead of knocking on doors in that 118-degree weather. Other than that, hopefully you got some value from this video. Before you take off, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you want to dive in deeper to learn sales and marketing strategies, there's going to be the link somewhere around this video. Schedule a free solar strategy call with me personally, and I'd love to see if I can help you in any way possible. So go ahead and click the link or go to solarstrategycall.com. Schedule that free strategy call. Hope to talk to you soon. Peace.